This is the Brave Space podcast. My name is Dr. Jordan, and I'm here with Gator.
Hey everybody, my name is Jeffery Gates, but everybody that know me know I go by Gator. That's
Gator.
just been my nickname for almost 30 years.
Yeah, that's what I call you.
Yeah,
I think it took me a minute to realize that your name was actually
yeah.
Jeffrey. Where did Gator come from, actually?
My football coach gave me that name when I
Okay.
was in school. I used to tell through the line like like a Gator, and of course my last name is Gates, and it
Right.
just stuck. That was my first nickname, and it just been my nickname. Well, it wasn't my first one, but
Okay.
it
Okay,
was.
I didn't know that. So I wanted to just get us started with like a social emotional question, just kind of get the
Mhm.
conversation started. So tell me something that you feel strongly about. It could be anything, any topic. What's on
Yeah.
your mind today? What do you feel strongly about?
Um, like I said, well, I just feel like marriage is overrated. That's one of the things that just be on my mind a lot.
Okay.
I don't feel like it's set for both genders. It's not an equally
Mhm.
yoked type deal. It's more like a big sorority that the hierarchy go woman, woman to man.
Mhm. Okay. Overrated, like say more. Like what does that mean for
Well,
you?
I feel like a lot of
You can say whatever, by the way.
okay,
It's a
okay,
break,
okay,
it's a brave
yeah.
space.
Well, I feel like a lot of people get married for the wrong reasons. Like, I feel like I got married on some because I love you type stuff,
Mhm.
and it got to be more than that.
Mhm.
That's the movie version of what's going on. But a marriage to me now I realize it's more like a business. It's more like a contract, and everybody got to keep up, with their ends of the contract, or
Mhm. Mhm.
it just don't work out.
Yeah. So love isn't enough. You need some other
Yeah,
ingredients.
because we love a lot of people,
Right.
you know, and then like um, love and lust get mixed up all the time.
Right.
So you could be just in real light with somebody
Mhm.
and think that you in love with them, and you make decisions that that's gonna carry on for the rest of your life that you ain't really thought over, from a logical standpoint, like about what marriage really is and
Mhm.
who stands to benefit and that type of stuff.
How old were you when you got married?
Um, 27, yeah, I think I was 27, maybe 26.
26,
Yeah,
27. Do you
yeah.
like looking back now, do you feel like your age, maturity, like do you think that factored into your decision?
Oh dang, no, I'm sorry. I said I'm thinking because I'm thinking about when we got together.
Okay.
But I got married. I was 29.
29.
Yeah,
Y'all got together around 26,
yeah,
27.
26.
Yeah.
Definitely, I was
Okay.
26.
Do you feel like you were old enough, like you were ready when you got married, or do you wish you would have waited more? Like, what are your thoughts?
I feel like I wish I definitely would have waited
Mhm.
because um, I was in love with the idea of being married. Of having a wife and all the fairy tale stuff.
Mhm.
Like that ain't the real deal though. That's just the movies.
Mhm.
So I looked at marriage differently. I was like, if I love you and you love me, it's just gonna work out.
Mhm.
But it don't always work out. A lot of people get married, divorced, and remarried,
Yeah.
because they love each other. But, it got to be stronger than that, though.
Mhm. Mhm. What did marriage like mean to you when you were 29 or any time between 26 to 29? Like
Well,
what kind of meaning or value did it hold for you?
majority of my life, I never thought about it. I never thought about getting married. I never thought about even wanting to get married
Mhm.
till I met somebody that I was in love with that
Yeah.
made me want to get married. And so when I felt like that, it was just all kinds of feeling. It was like feeling like I'd be able to make sure that she taken care of for the rest
Mhm.
of my life. From being able to put on my insurance at the job to make sure if
Mhm.
something happened to me, she'll be taken care of. Like that was kind of love. That was
Mhm.
my whole mindset, the way I was thinking about it. It's like I love you. I just want to make sure that
Mhm.
you good forever, no matter what happened to me.
Mhm.
And so
So you wanted to take care of someone, it almost sounds like
Yeah,
someone who you loved, you wanted to take care
yeah.
of her.
I wanted to make sure that, I wasn't just thinking about the now, I was the future. I just
Mhm,
wanted, no matter how this ends, I just want you to be taken care of because you mean that much to me,
mhm, mhm,
so yeah.
mhm. How do you feel like, marriage has shaped, like, who you are today?
Well, it taught me that that in my mind, unconditional love don't exist.
Mm,
Love always come with conditions. So now I look at things like just looking at its conditions.
mhm,
Like your friends turn into your enemies. At the
mhm,
drop of a dime when you reach certain borders and boundaries. It happen. So I just used to always feel like, oh, I got unconditional love. I love you no matter what you do. You know what I'm saying, or what you say.
mhm,
And then I realized 10 years later that it's not really a such thing as that.
mhm,
Because even parents, what I'm saying, they give birth to children, what I'm saying, and grow away from them.
mhm,
People that you love, you think you love unconditionally. There are conditions. The list of conditions might be not be as long for a
mhm,
child, but there are certain things that anybody could do to you
mhm,
that can turn that switch off.
mhm, mhm. Do you feel like, maybe your conditions weren't well matched with your wife? Like, does it feel like there was more of a mismatch?
Um, I think it was just the communication breach. It was because I'm kind of easygoing, so I don't really have a lot of boundaries that I was just standing on. Just
Mhm,
boundaries that were just clear cut. And I feel like she did, and I didn't know him until I ran into him. So just yeah,
mhm. So
yeah,
that's a heavy topic to
yeah,
have on your mind.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is. You just had me out there just thinking about it. But communication, anybody that's trying to do that type of stuff,
Mhm,
you know, you got to know how to communicate. You got to be able to take criticism. Can't play the blame game.
mhm,
You got to love them when it hurt.
mhm. So take me, like, all the way back to Little Gator. Like, when you were
Okay.
growing up, like, where are you from? How did you grow up? Like, did you experience anything significant, like, in your early life? Like, let us know.
Well, growing up, I was the oldest, so I was always considered the man of the house. That my mom used to always tell me growing up, I'm the man of the house, and I really felt like that. That was in my mind. I treated my brother and my sister like they was my kids,
Mhm,
even though they ain't that much younger than me. Um, it was different for me growing up. I didn't realize, how um, I didn't realize the things that I was doing, how significant they were back then, like riding a MARTA bus to school or, going to the grocery store with a
mhm,
list with no cell phone,
right.
jumping on the bus, mama sending me there. So when I was young, yeah, I just had been thrust into like a leadership role. My brother and my sister, they definitely listened to me. Mama left me in charge. My mom used to work, man. I remember my mom worked 3 jobs at one time.
Mm,
She worked for the school, you know what I'm saying? She cleaned up houses and
mhm,
she working in a personal care home
mhm.
trying to make ends meet. We grew up around Tomerville Heights area.
Yeah.
So like my mom used to work at a personal care home over there and we used to walk with her to work. Like my mom, it's probably like a 2 mile walk,
Mhm.
maybe three. But I remember just walking to work with my mama,
Yeah.
like, and then riding the bus everywhere with my mom. And now, like, the bus just seems so foreign,
Yeah.
just getting on the MARTA bus now just seems crazy. But growing up, I started working early. I remember my first job, I was like 11. I used to work University in Metropolitan. Well,
Mhm,
University in Stewart Avenue then. Or it might have been Metropolitan, I don't know. But I used to work at like this little flea market. My grandma, I used to catch the bus all the way to the West End by
mhm,
myself, at 11 to go to work. Um, Doing that, like I'd be out there like before daybreak, and my grandma just leave me out there all day. So I'm selling stuff at the flea market. You know what I'm saying? She come back, get the money. I used to do that. That was my job
So you were
was.
working.
Yeah, I was working
Yeah.
for real, having to negotiate with adults. You
Uh-huh.
know, like
Uh-huh.
my grandma says 25, but you know what I'm saying? She might let me take 20. So I had to learn how to,
Yep.
communicate with people and negotiate and stuff like that.
And how old were you
Like
around this time?
11. I was
Like
definitely
11?
11.
Okay.
I was definitely 11. Cause when I turned 12, I had been doing it for a while. And I remember my mom got real sick. She went to the hospital. She went to Grady.
Mm-hmm.
She was down. She was in the hospital for over a month. We got similar scars. I got to see out the same trach. She had a trach in her neck and everything.
Wow.
And I think we was around the same age when this was going on too. But everybody kind of thought that my mom was go past. My mom from Chattanooga, Tennessee. So all the family from Chattanooga was coming down here. And then they was talking about what they was gonna do with me and my brother and my sister. Like, if something happens to my mama, who go get who, and how they go do that type of stuff. And like, this is just me listening, eavesdropping as a child, being nosy. But my mom was real sick, and they ain't want to talk to us about it. They ain't want to talk to the kids about it. So I remember, at 12 years old, riding the MARTA bus from the West End, because I had got out work over there, and riding the bus downtown to buy my mama flowers and going to Grady and taking my mama flowers. And before my mama went to the hospital, she had told me, she had always been trying to tell us about what insurance information is, how to pay the bills and everything. And when she went to the hospital, she actually left me with all her money. But I gave it to my auntie. So when I went in the room, you know what I'm saying, my mom had all these tubes and stuff. She was like, I don't know if she was intubated. She probably was, because I remember we used to put ice on her tongue and stuff.
Yeah.
But when I went in the room, my mama just like almost jumped out the bed. She was just like, where you come from? She was so happy to see me and stuff. And I was talking to her, and I remember her like, what I do with the money and stuff.
Yeah.
And I told her, you know what I'm saying, I gave it to my auntie. And she was looking like, I told you what to do. You know what I'm saying? My mama had so much, like, that's crazy. She had so much trust in me. And I look at it like, now I got a 12-year-old, and my baby, my daughter couldn't ride. She can't even ride the bus. She don't even know what to do, where to go, or any of that. And I just felt like growing up, that kind of molded me. So, we went through a lot. All the other crazy stuff that happened, and, the unspoken things that happen in majority of households all over America.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, happened in my household too. So, you know what I'm saying, went through that. And shoot, man, my mom, she was so hardworking. Like, it's crazy, because I never knew we was poor.
Yeah.
Until I started, really getting, when I started working for real. I got my first job, and I seen what paychecks look like, and, making $5.15. But my mom used to tell me, like, she was only making like $2 or something back when we used to work with her and stuff. And I started seeing, like, how my mom survived off of that. I never knew that we was poor as we were, because she never make us feel like that. We always was clean. I guess we didn't have the best clothes, but it felt like it. I ain't know. But when I turned 15, though, I got my job and stuff, started working, started trying to jump off the porch and stuff. I used to work at the Kroger on Belvedere Plaza, right down Murray Drive.
Yep.
So we moved to Decatur. I used to be riding my bike to work then.
Yep.
But, just working. Got my second paycheck, the first thing I went and did was when it got me some goals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This all I was working for, though. I ain't had nothing going on.
Yeah.
And but I was working, I was loving it, enjoying life. As a kid, really feeling like an adult, just not knowing how much had been thrust upon me at such a young age, for real.
Right.
You never even know it till you looking back. And then you start remember all that stuff that resonated with you and the things that people told you.
Yeah.
Like, I had an uncle who used to tell me, like, what stuck with me, he said, work hard now, play hard later. So that kind of gave me a outlook, like, if I work real hard now, you know what I'm saying, then later on in life, I'll be able to play hard.
Yeah.
Like, that's what my uncle doing right now. He playing hard, that uncle. And So I just think that's a good. I always try to tell my kids that too. Just
Mhm.
go ahead and get the hard work out now, cause
Then
so
get the benefits later.
it'd be nice to be
Mhm.
47, with just
Yeah.
good, just set.
Yeah.
Like so we go by the time my age group get ready to retire, we probably gonna have to be 75.
Mhm.
Ain't no telling, it just keep on going up.
Mhm. For sure.
So,
You mentioned, that you grow up in Thomasville Heights?
well,
Like
my
the
aunt stayed in the apartments. We stayed
Okay.
in the house though.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I was out there like that. Tomerville Heights, Four
Yeah.
Seasons.
Yeah.
I was out there. I was definitely out there. I had an aunt stayed in Tomerville Heights and an aunt
Mhm.
that stayed in Four Seasons.
Mhm.
So we was always there.
Did you spend a lot of time, in that community, like, in Four Seasons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, got in some big old fights, big old family fights out there. A
Yeah.
lot of them, it was the hood.
Mhm.
So and then I played football for them too at the center up there.
Mhm.
We was just always out there. If I wasn't, we wasn't at home, we was at my auntie house.
Mhm. Mhm. It sounds like too, it almost sounds like in a lot of ways, like you were shielded just by, like, maybe even a lot of love in the home. Would that be correct to say?
Well, shielded. I don't know if I was shielded, but I definitely say I was nurtured.
You were nurtured. Like,
Yeah.
in what ways were you nurtured in a way that kinda kept you, like, resilient, like how you are today?
Well, the things that people were saying to me when I was growing up, like my mom and my grandma, they used to always tell me like I could have anything I want and I could
Mhm.
be anything I want. Like they always used to tell me that.
Mhm.
So my mom was very encouraging.
Mhm.
Like my mom was sick a lot of the time, when I was growing up, but she used to always push me to, go and do things and be the best.
Mhm.
Stuff like and just that encouragement. I had the mom that used to read to me and used to sing us
Yeah.
and all that. So it was like I definitely had didn't grow up no fairy tale type
Yeah.
life, but the love it was definitely there, wasn't lacking at
Mhm.
all.
You feel like a lot of that is missing from you today? Like, I can't tell you when's the last time I heard a youth say, like, that their parent read to them, to be honest.
Mm,
As a matter of fact, the youth Dip and I were working with, I would ask them, like, "What are your talents? Like, what do you like about yourself?" And then I will always ask them, "Well, how many times are adults asking you these questions?" And they were
right,
like, "Never. No one's ever asking me about me."
exactly. When I ask patients that question, a lot of times they be the same generic answer because
Mhm.
most of the time they always catch them off guard, and then they be like,
Yeah.
"Well, um, I like that I'm ambitious, and I
Mhm.
like to get money. I don't take no mess." That basically the
The same
same answer.
response.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, every time. You don't hardly get an answer like, I like the fact that I'm level headed or
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I like that I'm a nice person.
Mhm.
And just the way that, kids or men being raised is different. Cause every man, every little boy, we see him, the first thing we do is punch him in the chest. We want him to be tough,
Yeah.
instead of
Yep.
like my mom loved me. I love you everywhere we go.
Mhm.
Every time we hang up the phone, every time we leave the house, it's always hugs and kisses. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I know
Mhm.
like that'd be soft, but like sure I feel like the world need that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like need that love, man. Cause like that's what we producing. If um all you do is rough house you know what I'm saying, this
Mhm.
young man, then that's all he gonna know how to do.
Right. Did you grow up with your dad?
Now my the close well, my dad was in and out of prison just my whole life for
Mhm.
real. He was there in spots. I remember the times I could, kind of like count them on my hands how often my dad was around. My mom and my dad was married for like 30 some years.
Mhm.
So every time that my dad would get out of prison, he'd come home
Mhm.
and then he'll leave again. Then he'll go
Mhm.
back to prison.
Mhm.
Then he'll get out and he'll come home.
Mhm.
Like that was the kind of relationship it was. Um,
What was that like for you?
it was it made me not have a lot of respect for my dad at first. When I was younger, I really didn't have a lot of respect for him because I didn't understand what it was like, what I'm saying, being who he was and going through whatever it was that he was going
Mhm.
through. it was just like I just knew he wasn't there,
Mhm.
and that was a problem for me. And when he came, I just didn't feel like he should be able to, you know what I'm saying, tell me what's going on. Also, with my mom always putting I'm the man of the house in my head,
Yeah.
so it was just like, you know, and of course, kids, when parents, when mothers be bashing their daddy, the
Mhm.
kids hear that,
They do.
and that's where that stuff come from. Like my dad tried to pop me, and I was like, "You ain't never been no daddy for me," you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That type of stuff. Where like there ain't nothing I would have said. I know it's something that I overheard,
Right.
you know, on who you think you are. Um, it wasn't a whole lot of that going on in my household, but as I got older and I started living my own life, I started kind of understanding things that my granddaddy had to go through and that my daddy had to go
Mhm.
through.
Mhm.
Um, you know, my dad, he dealt with substance abuse. So he was, what I'm saying, constantly, he was out there trying to fight that monkey, trying to
Yeah.
fight that demon. And I don't think it was that he didn't love us. It was just that he couldn't do nothing
Mhm.
about what he was going through. And then I look at a lot of men that was in that age group, like the guys that were born in like the 60s and stuff,
Mhm.
and that made them kind of young adults when the crack
The
epidemic
80s.
hit.
Yep.
And so when that hit, it messed up a lot. It messed up a lot of people.
Mhm. A
It
lot of
messed up a lot of
families.
homes.
Yep.
And so I look at, the epidemic the way it is now,
Mhm.
and it's just like it's hard to fight it.
Mhm.
It really is. Everybody getting on these Percocets and stuff and either dying or like people get on them and then can't get off of them. Everybody I know that was on them had to go to rehab to get off of
Mhm.
them. So that stuff, it's like crack. It's just modern day crack. The drugs always gonna be a problem.
For sure. For sure.
But I didn't got all the way off track because
No,
I
it's
just
good. It's good.
well me and my dad we didn't get cool though until basically him and my mom started being together. Cause I
Mm.
love her so much I couldn't stand to
Mm.
see him
Mhm.
doing the stuff that he was doing. But when they separated, it was kind of like me and him. Our relationship got stronger
Yeah.
because it was like now we could be the dad and son. We could drink a beer together,
Yep.
and we could talk and we could chop it up. It ain't always me thinking about you doing stuff to hurt my mama.
Mhm. You were able to kind of form your own separate relationship
Yeah,
with
yeah,
both of them.
right.
Yeah. Is he still living?
Yeah, yeah. I just seen him yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen him. When I was talking earlier about my
Yeah.
uncle, he was down at the hospital and stuff. But yeah, we still talk. I look just like him. He
Do
my
you?
partner, but I just have a level of respect for him. Like I would never cuss my daddy out of, or just disrespect him as a
Yeah.
man because he is my dad,
Mhm.
no
Mhm.
matter what he did. And now I'm a father and a
Mhm.
grandfather, so I feel the
Mhm.
same way. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like it hurt. It hurt when your child talk to you crazy.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. What were you like as like a late teenager, young man? Like what
Mhm.
was life like for you?
Okay, like around this 15 to 17,
Mhm.
start trying to jump out the porch, trying to do stuff.
Mhm.
I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I played football and wrestled in school, so I was popular. But I also, hang with a crew. We had a little rap group,
Mhm.
and we was trying to do a whole bunch. We was just trying to do a whole bunch, trying to sell a
Yeah.
little weed and stuff like that. And that's how I got caught up, just jumping off the porch, trying to be somebody that in my heart I knew I wasn't.
Mhm.
But it wasn't that like I was tough. I definitely stood up for what I believed in. I wasn't scared. But I remember when I got into the situation I got into, all I was thinking when I was making the worst mistake of my life was, but I wonder what they're
Mhm.
gonna be saying tomorrow. Cause
Mhm.
everybody like Gator crazy, Gator this, Gator that. Cause I that was the persona I was projecting. Like I
Yep.
don't take no mess.
Yep.
Like I'm gonna deal with you if it's a problem. And I just was straddling the fence. I had to move. We moved from Decatur to Douglasville
Mhm.
when I was 15. And 17 is when I got locked up and went to prison in
Mhm.
Douglasville. When I moved there, it was like a culture shock for me. I went from like Columbia High School on the east side to Douglasville, Alexander High School out
Mhm.
there. and it was like day and night. When I was at Columbia High School, we had 2 lunch lines, and they both had the same thing. We moved to Douglasville, it was like something out of Dawson's Creek. You know what I'm saying? It was like,
Yeah.
I swear it was like a movie. Everybody called everybody by their first name. Hey, Jeffrey Gates. Or,
Yeah.
like, oh, Shakita. We talking
Uh-huh.
about Shakita Mosley, or like that
Yeah.
type of stuff. Like, it was just way different. We stayed in the trailer park,
Mhm.
but it had a lake down there. It was just like, to me, going from Atlanta and Decatur to Douglasville was like moving to the country.
Yeah.
So I go up there, and things were a little bit different. It was the first time I had really interactions with the police,
Mm.
because police was out here patrolling. The kids that was doing stuff out there was getting locked up, and
Mhm.
it was a culture shock. Like I
Mhm.
said, the 2 lunch lines up there at Columbia, I go up here, we got 5 lunch lines. They all got different stuff at
Mhm.
them. Um, the tables is not just the long bench picnic tables.
Yeah.
We got tables that got like 8 chairs around them. It's just something. It was way different. It was way
Mhm.
different for me. Kids actually driving to school and stuff. We had auto tech. It was just a much better opportunity.
Mhm.
So I came up here. Well,
Did you
went
ever
up there.
did you ever feel like you didn't fit in?
Well, I definitely didn't fit in. I
Yeah.
definitely didn't fit in. I stuck out, and that's why I got real popular when I came up here, because I'm coming up here, 15-year-old kid from Atlanta.
Mhm.
I got 4 goals in my mouth.
Mhm.
I'm playing football, I'm wrestling. So I'm automatically I'm in with the cool kids.
Yeah.
So I'm hanging with all the cool kids and
Mhm.
stuff like that, because I was different. But me doing that kind of, I just heard a saying like last year say, "You're not who you think you are. You are who the people that what I'm saying you interact with. You who they
Mhm.
think you are."
Yep.
And so, I was thinking I was one thing, but the people around me was thinking I was another, and I was more living up to what they thought I was.
What did they think that you
Well,
were
I
or
mean,
how you
like
should
I was
be?
just a gangster, like
Yeah.
I wanted to be hood. I wanted to be like, I guess I just wanted to be like a star athlete,
Mhm.
but just not a lame. I
Mhm.
wanted to do good in school. I wanted to pass my classes and be smart. I think what it was, I wanted to be a walking contradiction. I
Yeah.
wanted to look like I look and still be able to do
Yeah.
the things like when you talk to me, I didn't want you to think I was dumb just because I look the way that I look.
Mhm.
And so that was what I was trying to do. The extracurricular stuff, it was just distractions that really got me in trouble.
Mhm.
Cause I ain't gonna never say I was bad. I don't think I was a bad kid at all. I just wasn't aware, just
Mhm.
wasn't aware. I wasn't aware of the things that I was doing and
Mhm.
what they really meant.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
What were some of the things you were doing that made you feel like, or maybe even led to you going to prison?
well, the guns, like
Mhm.
I like guns.
Yeah.
When I was young, I used to like guns. So like all my friends, we all had guns.
Mhm.
We used to go out and shoot, go in the woods and just shoot, um, smoke weed, and just we all had them. And then like a gun, when it's in your hand, make you feel like a different person.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Which a lot of people don't like, they skip over that part.
yeah,
That when as soon as you have it in your hands, like, you feel like you can do more, like, you could say more. You look at people differently,
yeah.
right?
Cause like you wielding a tool that could take somebody's life.
Mhm.
That's very powerful.
Mhm.
Like you got a tool in your hand that, I got a weapon in my hand. I could just kill everybody in
Yeah.
here if that was what my mind
Right.
state was. And
It's a type
people,
of power,
yeah,
really. Like,
definitely.
it
You
makes
pull one
you
on me, I'm gonna be quiet.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
it hurt.
Or even like, you may have heard me mention this before, but like when I used to work at the gun range and I was coming home late at night because I would
Mm,
get off work and like they used to let us carry. And
mm,
Georgia, you just carry, like you don't have to have a license, you don't
all
have to
right.
have any training, nothing. You just get to have one. And I remember thinking that I felt less scared, like, less fearful simply because not only did I have a gun and I was carrying it, but even when I was going in, like, walking through the dark parking lot, it's like, "Oh, I feel fine." Like, if someone walks up on
Yeah.
me, like, and I'm a good shot,
That was what I
right?
say, you know how to use it.
Yes,
You not
yeah,
just got one, you know how to
right.
use it.
But it makes you feel completely different, and most people don't even talk about that. They don't talk
Yeah.
about that part.
Oh, definitely, like, having a gun, it make you feel like you can go in neighborhoods that you wouldn't normally go into.
Mhm,
Yeah, so
mhm.
but that impacted my life a lot, I think, just having guns because like we was rapping and stuff, but we really wasn't just about all that trying to
Yeah.
hurt people stuff. We'll fight,
Mhm,
you gotta respect us, but we wasn't the group of guys hung with, they ain't the type of stuff we was on. But one day I'm leaving the studio. It's me, um, my baby mama at the time, she was pregnant, and three of my friends. We riding. I had a '78 box Chevy. It was my first box Chevy. So we riding and stuff and leaving the studio, riding up the street, and the dude shoot a bird at me.
mhm.
This white dude, he just shoot a bird at me. That's how immature. You know how that was a
Yep.
kid thing back then. So when he do that, I'm like, oh, he must know me or something. So, cause I see him, I slow down, and when I slow down to see who he is, he pull out a BB gun, but it was
Mhm.
like the new kind. It was chrome. I didn't know it was BB gun at the time,
Mm,
but when he
mhm,
did that, I immediately pressed the gas, got up out of there.
mhm,
But I was like, oh, who you think he is? He playing with the right one.
mhm,
So I went and, got my gun and I dropped my friends off at home. My baby mama at the time, she was young, still telling me like, don't go back, don't worry about it. It ain't nothing. But I'm being hot head, being stupid. I get my gun, I don't see him.
mhm,
And later on that night, as I'm coming back home, I'm with a different group of friends, but we all in the same clique. But I was telling them about what had happened,
mhm,
and just happened to run into him again. And when I ran into him, I was like, "Oh, that's him right there." And I just remember like seeing like everything went in slow motion. I just went and I went and got my gun from where I had it stashed at, and
yeah,
then came right back and pulled over, got the car, and he knew what time it was.
mhm,
So like when he got kind of close, like about almost as close as we are to each other right now,
mhm,
he took out running. And he took out running. He was faster than me. Me and my
mhm,
other friend, we couldn't catch him, but I had another friend that was also an athlete in school football team, track
mhm,
star. He ran him down, caught him, and we didn't do nothing but beat him up.
mhm,
I pointed the gun at him. He ran. I shot in his direction,
mhm,
but where I came from, I seen a dude that I'm still friends with shoot somebody,
mhm,
actually shoot him,
mhm,
and the police came and he was out there with the crowd, like while they was investigating.
mhm,
He was still there. He didn't,
yep,
and nothing happened because the neighborhood didn't talk. It wasn't nothing like that. But that culture shock, that's where it kicked in at
mhm,
because, in Douglasville, you can't do that type of stuff.
right,
Like so anyway, I don't know if this I don't know how to edit it, but I did my story. But so
yeah,
sure, man, I didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't. I was just thinking it was some beef. I wanted
mhm,
to go and beat him up, not kill him or hurt him or nothing like that. But I wanted to beat him up. I
yeah.
definitely wanted to just get him, and let him know I was better than him.
Was it for the disrespect
Yeah,
mainly?
because
Yeah.
he put the gun on me, and
Which
so
you didn't know was
a BB
a
gun.
BB
Yeah,
gun,
it ended up
right?
being a BB gun. But I found it out because I took it. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm taking
Mhm,
your gun, but it's still just me being dumb, not knowing the acts that I was committing.
mhm,
So behind all that, behind basically it was a juvenile fight.
mhm,
I got charged with armed robbery, kidnapped with bodily injury, aggravated assault, and robbery.
mm,
Sentenced me to 20 years, served 7. I did 6 years
wow,
for, what I'm saying, for something that small. That was my first time getting locked up. When I got locked up, I smiled on my mug shot because they were saying take a picture. I'm always
Yeah.
smiling.
You are always
So
smiling.
I was smiling because I thought that, well, I go to court in the morning, my mama gonna come get me.
Mm,
My mom brought
mhm,
me to turn myself in.
mhm,
So I went and turned myself in, um, to try to get a resolution. But I just didn't know. I didn't know what I had did. I didn't understand.
mhm,
In black and white, you could say that this was going on, but anybody that hear the story know that wasn't my intention. I wasn't
mhm,
going there to take nothing like to try to rob this man. I
right,
just had beef with him.
mhm,
But anyway, that right there sat me down for till I was like 23.
mm,
And just imagine your first time ever going to jail and not sitting there for 24 hours or a couple hours till you bond out.
mhm,
They didn't give me a bond,
mhm,
so I never even had a bond. Just from that day forward, I was in 6 years. Like that was a real shock. It really
yeah,
just it messed me up.
mhm,
And then like when I look back, both my co-defendants, both my friends that was with me that night, they had paid lawyers, but we was poor. My mom
yeah,
couldn't afford no lawyer, so I wasn't even thinking about getting no lawyer
mhm,
or none of that. When they told me no bond, I'm just in there, just
mhm,
go sit until this case over with. So I fought the case for about 2 years until I eventually played out because I just didn't have the money to beat them. I
mhm,
ain't have the money to really fight that, but that done cost me a lot. My whole life, it messed me up a lot.
yeah,
I had already passed all 4 parts of the graduation test. Um, I was on my way to graduating when I went to diagnostics to Jackson. When I went to prison, they made me a tutor, so I was down there,
mhm,
doing stuff. It was a lot of positive came out of it. I kind of feel like not all kids should go through that,
yeah,
but it don't it don't hurt because if you go in there and you really can't go home,
mhm,
you in there, you sit down for a minute, you ain't gonna really want to go back.
yeah, for sure, for
You
sure.
ain't, you ain't gonna want to go back. So when I got out, I was on some man. I feel like I feel like every young nigga need to go through this. That's
Mhm,
what I was saying because it taught me a lot. It taught me not to be selfish. It taught me how to be a man. It taught me how to keep my word.
mhm,
Just basic things that you really need in life. It taught me a lot when I was in prison. I hate I
mhm,
went through it because it ruined my life, but it definitely was a lesson.
mhm,
It was a lesson. It taught me patience. And now you just gotta wait.
yeah.
That's all you gotta do.
Did it, make you think differently, like, about your dad and, like, him being in and out of prison?
Yeah, like that's what I was saying earlier about like I had to step in his shoes. Like
Mhm,
when I went to prison, my first prison, my dad had just left like 4 months before that.
mhm,
So when I got there, they called me Jeffrey Gates, front and center. And but they looked at me and like, oh no, this ain't Jeffrey Gates. They was looking for my daddy because my daddy
mm,
was well known at the prison
mhm,
that I had just entered. We got the same prison pictures with the same backdrop and everything. But it was like after stepping in his shoes, and now I got a child, out
mhm,
here, and it just made me start looking at him different too.
yep,
Like I know ain't nobody wanna be in here or
mhm,
nothing like that. I just feel like he just had problems that was too big for him to handle.
mhm.
I really do.
He probably
Um,
would have benefited more from treatment rather than
yeah,
prison. Did he
yeah.
have a opportunity to get treatment?
Well, I really don't know.
Mm,
I don't know. I don't even know how he kicked it.
mhm,
Honestly,
mhm,
I guess he just got tired of going to prison. This last time he came home, he just wasn't doing that type of stuff no
yeah,
more. So, and he ain't been doing it since. But yes, it made me just see a lot of stuff different.
mhm.
Then when I came home, you know, my daughter going on 6. Um,
So she was a newborn when
no, she
you
wasn't
she
born.
wasn't born when
No,
you went
yeah,
okay,
my baby mom was pregnant,
okay.
so I had done made a baby and went
Mhm,
to prison.
mhm.
So like the first time I held my baby was in prison. So it was
What
like
did
that
that like, what did that how did that feel for you?
sickening. It made me feel sick because it was like, you know, seeing my baby, she was like my greatest gift.
Mhm.
Like when I found out that my baby mom was pregnant, I wanted a son. I definitely wanted a son,
Mhm.
but it was like I was happy about that.
Mhm.
So it definitely hurt um to have to watch her grow up from behind the wall. And it hurt our relationship because, you know, even though my family was there for her,
Mhm.
it's not the same as me being there.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when I got home, you know, we had a good relationship. But so much stuff transpired while I was in there. And me and my baby mama, we felt like it was just a whole bunch of toxic stuff just happened while I was in prison.
Yeah.
And it kind of it messed up a lot.
Mhm.
But I see how, you know, that could happen. How,
Mhm.
you know, when you're in prison and you make a phone call, it costs. So like the person that you calling, they had to pay for that, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
And if my dad in prison and my mama is struggling already, you know, she probably ain't got money to be accepting collect calls. So even
Mhm.
if he wanted to call, because he definitely always wrote, you know, like I remember he always wrote us and he always sent us stuff for our birthday, like little cards and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But just his absence still was felt.
For sure. How did you spend your time? Like, how did you spend your 6 years? Like, what kept you, like, just moving forward?
I was the strongest man on state. I used to work
Really?
out like real heavy. I was lifting weights and stuff. That's what I did. Only thing I could do after my baby mom broke my heart, only thing I could do was
Yeah.
do push-ups and brush my hair. You know, little
Yeah.
weights. So that's
Yeah.
what I did. But while I was in there, like I said, I did some tutoring and I was trying to pick up trades and stuff. So I welded while I was in there,
Mhm.
powder coat. I learned to use the grinder and stuff. And yeah, I got my forklifting license in
Mhm.
prison also. So like I um I was just doing stuff all the time.
Mhm.
I had got the streets off my mind. You know, I just knew I had to do a bid. So I
Mhm.
wasn't really worried about I was worried about the streets, but being in there is just it's a world too. It just
Mhm.
ain't no women. That's
Mhm.
it. But it's the same, you know, everything else. Like we watching all the current events on TV.
Mhm.
It taught me structure. You know, we got to get up every morning, got to make up the bed, got to go to work. When I came home, I was really motivated. You know, we work all those years for free. I worked till I sweat blood for a check.
Mhm.
That was my mentality.
Mhm. Mhm.
It helped me out a lot.
So you did 6 years and then you came out. What was life like after you came out?
When I came out, it was a lot of love. You know, a
Mhm.
lot of people in '08. I was like, to me, that was like the year of for real, a strong black woman. Cause when I came home, man,
Mhm.
it was so many black women was just looking out for me, giving me rides, trying to help me get jobs, buying me martyr cards, all that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I was just like, it was that year.
Yeah.
Year Barack, you know what I'm saying, got
Mhm.
elected. And I was stepping out of time capsule. I got introduced to the camera phone. You
Yeah.
know, it was
Yeah.
crazy, but I was an adult. I still had a child mind, but I was an
Mhm.
adult. I got out, got to working and stuff. Got me a good job at the Kroger warehouse.
Mhm.
It was like I'm making $11 an hour. I thought
Mhm.
I was that man. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool. Bought me a car, and I was just enjoying, you know, being young.
Mhm.
When it got me an apartment with a friend, and that didn't work out, so I got my first eviction. You know, just out
Yeah.
here just trying to
Trying to
do
make
everything
it.
too fast, trying to catch up from all that time that I missed. And I was just going nowhere fast.
Mhm.
That's it.
Mhm.
Just going to work, just to blow my money, trying to be in the streets all the time and do that type of stuff. But life was okay.
Mhm.
Got a girlfriend, um, made a baby.
Mhm.
We broke up. Met the next girl. You know, that was my wife.
Mhm.
So stayed with her. We got married or whatever. But for the most part, through all those years, it really wasn't nothing. I don't feel like significant going on in my life. I was
Mhm.
just working. I was making pretty good money, but I wasn't doing nothing with it.
Mhm.
I went to when I was 33. So that's like, dang, that's a 10-year gap. Well, when I was 29, I got married. When I was 26, I met my wife.
Mhm.
And like I said, from then on, it was just working, trying to take care of her, trying to just make ends meet.
Mhm.
But
It almost sounded like you wanted a fresh start with life, and
yeah,
that you were that's what you were working
yeah,
toward.
right.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it was so much stuff I wasn't versed on. I didn't
Mhm.
understand. Like I never had thought about buying a house. Um, I had never been to the ocean,
Mhm.
never seen the ocean. Didn't even think nothing really outside of Atlanta.
Mhm.
I go to Tennessee sometimes, see my family, but I just wasn't doing nothing but just going to work, making my paycheck,
Mhm.
and spending it all.
Mhm.
That was it. So in 2019, though, when I was 33, I got shot,
Mhm.
and like I almost died. And well,
Can you tell
yeah,
us what happened when you got shot?
okay. During all the time, too, I was just working all the time. I actually took off work to work the Super Bowl experience because the Super Bowl was in Atlanta, and I wanted to meet Mike Vick, meet some of the people and stuff.
Mhm.
So I was like, I'm do the Super Bowl experience because I know it's gonna be star studded. The
Mhm.
Super Bowl is big business, and so me and my wife, we both took off from our jobs that we was working at to go do temp service work
Mhm.
at the Super Bowl experience. Um, we got off one night, and I had went to the store. Well, I dropped off. We actually went in the house. 'Cause she didn't even know I loved that guy, but I knew I needed smoke. We ain't had no more cigarettes. So I
Mhm.
jumped in the car and went to the store to go get a cigarette store. And I jumped out the car at this gas station on Fulton. And it was people arguing. It was like looked like two girls arguing, and it was a dude, but it was kind of like a love triangle or something. Whatever they had going on, I'm used to
Mhm.
seeing this type of stuff at the gas station. So I go in, get my cigarettes, come back out. And when I'm coming back out, I'm going to go back to my car. I think somebody had asked me for change for, or I asked somebody for change, something like that,
Mhm.
But anyway, either way it went, I realized I had got shortchanged. So
Mhm.
I was going back to get my little dollar, and I got my dollar, but I was walking back to the car, and next thing I know, I just heard gunshots.
Mhm.
And when I heard the gunshots, I was already hit. I started trying to run because I heard it, but then my body started shutting down, and I had been hit in the
Mhm.
chest. So it was like I thought I was dying. I had just ran around the building,
Mhm.
and I called my wife, and I was just like, "I'm dying. I love you." You know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling her like I've been shot. I'm dying because that's what I thought. I thought I was dying. And I tell them I love her, call my mama, call my kids, tell them I love them, that
Mhm.
type of stuff. And she's just screaming, she hysterical, like, what you mean? What's going on?
Mhm.
Ooh, ooh. I told her where I was, but I had the car. So she had to catch an Uber. And she actually made it down there to the gas station just in time to see the ambulance leaving. But anyway, while I was on the ground, not even thinking about calling no ambulance, I'm steady
Mhm.
saying, please help me. And I'm calling her.
Mhm.
Well, I guess somebody eventually called the ambulance. But the police came and just applied pressure to my chest
Mhm.
and just told me, saying just stay calm, stay calm. And they held me down until the ambulance got there. I remember like the last thing that I remember before I went out, we was getting ready to get on the expressway, and they was like, we could take him to Cobb General, and then they was like, no, take him to Grady, because
Mhm.
what I'm saying, the trauma center or whatever. And then I guess they took me to Grady,
Yeah.
and I woke up a few days later, what I'm saying, realized what had done happened. But I was in the hospital for 3 months. It was a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot going on. I never knew how close I was to dying until, a doctor came in and told me
Mhm.
like, well, Dr. Wynn, He said, um, I don't forgot what they called the surgery, but it was a major surgery. He's like, you had a 7% chance of living.
Wow.
7% is real small.
Mhm.
Like when
Was
you
it the location? Was it
Yeah,
the
because they had
impact,
to
the
open up
injury?
I got shot in the chest right by my heart.
Mhm.
They had to open up my chest and do all that. All that doctor stuff.
Yeah.
But they healed me. They saved me. But like when you hit those type of numbers, it just made me cry. Cause like if I hear it's a 93% chance that my mom not gonna make it,
Yeah.
I'm thinking she gone. So
Mhm.
it was, that realization that when I made it through, it just made me look at life totally different. I realized, man, I was finna be dead, man. That's so much stuff
Mhm.
I ain't did. Like
Yeah.
I ain't, like I said, soldier. I hadn't been to the ocean. I hadn't, I hadn't even flew on an airplane.
Mhm.
Like so much stuff. It just made me look at life and just look at the bigger picture. Like I had beef
Yeah.
with people. I had squashed that. Like, man, I love everybody. Life just too precious. And it like lit a fire in me. And I started living differently, like kind of like with a purpose
Yeah.
more. It made me feel like I just wanted to spread love and I wanted to spread joy and I wanted to spread positivity. I wanted people to know that everything gonna be all right
Mhm.
because so if I could make it from that,
Mhm.
man, it's so much stuff. Life it's just
Yeah.
endless possibilities with life.
Yeah.
Period. And so during my recovery, I used to come back and I see people, because a lot of people in the hospital be looking sad and stuff. So I
Mhm.
just try to encourage them. I'd be like, well, your family member in good hands.
Mhm.
They go take care of you.
Mhm.
Grady saved me.
Yeah.
I was waving that Grady flag
Yeah, for
loud and
sure.
proud because like I was definitely just appreciative of it. And then like I made a friend with Doc.
Mhm.
But she saved
Dr.
my life.
Randy.
Yeah, Dr. Randy.
Dr.
Yeah.
Randy, yeah.
I always call her Doc, but she saved my life and was like a guardian angel for me.
Mhm.
She was a surgeon. Before her, I never knew a surgeon.
Mhm.
Never knew one. Doctors was doctors and nurses and techs, was
Mhm.
nurses.
Mhm.
Everything was the same. But when I was in the hospital, she used to always come around and then she was pregnant. She used to be so motherly and just always talk so nice to me and really
Mhm.
seemed concerned about me getting better. And it just was a bond. It grew into a friendship.
Mhm.
And it was like she would call me and be like, you need to come to your appointment.
Mhm.
And like she was like really like there for me.
Yeah.
Um, so, she was telling me about, she wanted to put some type of program like this. Well, the program I work for now,
Yeah.
Ivy, that's interrupting violence in youth and young adults.
Mhm.
But at the infancy stage, she was just telling me it was gonna be like a hospital-based violence intervention program.
Mhm.
And it was gonna be a way to give resources and like I was just on board.
Yeah.
Whenever she called, like, yeah, I want to do it. Whatever it is, I want to do it.
Mhm.
And so she had started having me do speaking engagements and tell about what's going on
Mhm.
with me and just being me.
Mhm.
First
Mhm.
job I ever got, just for being me.
Just me and you.
Yeah.
'Cause how long have you been at Grady now?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, I've been there 2 years next month.
Yeah.
And like the opportunity, I appreciate the opportunity because, a lot of people have things that they like to complain about. But I just feel like, man, I never knew. 10 years ago, I would have never thought I'd be in the hospital
Like working in that,
working, yeah.
yeah.
And like having doctors and surgeons that I could call my friend,
Mhm.
people that really mess with me. Um,
Tell me more about your role too, like
okay,
what do you do day by day? Like what's a day look like for you when you're at work? When you're
okay.
at Grady?
Yeah, so when I go to the job and stuff, we go in and check the consult list and see who are the new patients that, just been shot or whatever,
Mhm.
just got there. And we go and meet them bedside, go talk to them, laugh with them, cry with them, kick it with them. But, just be who I am.
Mhm.
And when I meet the patients, it make me feel good. It make me feel like like I'm doing what Dr. Smith did for me because I'm offering them resources, ways to better their life and to keep them out of this.
Mhm.
Sometimes people be just real mad and they just want to cry, you know what I'm saying? And they need a shoulder to cry on.
Mhm.
We able to go in there and do that. We able to go in there and be human, you know, instead of just being a business or a process. We go
Mhm.
in there and we could, like, that's my favorite. My favorite part of the job is just the, you know, the human interaction,
Mhm.
to be able to go and change people's minds.
Mhm.
Sometimes, you know, you just so mad and the people around you mad too. And, you know, the blind can't lead the blind. So all
Yeah.
y'all upset. You like, we gonna go get them. They like, yeah, let's go get them.
Mhm.
But really what good gonna come out of that?
Mhm. Mhm. I'm sure too, like, even just you being able to share, like, your experience, like,
Right,
has to mean a lot for them because they're, like, in the midst of it, like, right after they've been injured, like, right after they've been injured by a firearm, and
right,
then it's like you come in and you can give a different perspective,
right.
right?
That's what I mean. Like it be a lot of unspoken stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we go in there and I talk to them and tell them a little bit about my story. And
Mhm.
like, you know, I've been on both sides of the gun.
Mhm. Mhm.
And, you know, it really wasn't good either way. It's just not,
Right.
it's nothing good coming from that.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I mean, that's what make me that's what
Yeah.
make my job
Yeah.
because, you know, like this is my job because
Yeah.
this you know who I am. So I relate to a lot of the customers. I said customers,
Yeah.
patients. Majority of the patients, you know what I'm saying, look like me.
Yeah.
They grew up the way I grew up.
Mhm.
They can understand me versus somebody coming into a room and talking to you um, with all the medical jargon
Mhm.
and or sounding like a psychiatrist,
Mhm.
like, you know, I'm
Mhm.
crazy or something.
Mhm.
I come in there like, what's up, bro? Sit down, talk to you, how your day going, how you feeling, you all right?
Yeah.
Um, you know, where you from? What you like to be called?
Mhm.
You know, and then the whole time I'm, you know, asking them all that, they still looking at me like,
Like, who are
you
you?
really work
Yeah.
here? You
Yeah.
know, like you really work here?
Yep.
Yeah, man. So it's opportunities out here for people like us too.
Yeah.
So it's
Yep.
like I want to motivate you to not go back out
Mhm.
there and keep this cycle going.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, I ain't gonna lie, majority of the people that we talk to really be victims. They be
Yeah.
true victims.
Yeah.
Um, but
But
for the
people always paint them as though, like, it was something wrong with them or it was something
right,
that they did to get shot,
yeah. So
right?
I'm sitting in my house, I'm sitting in my apartment, um, playing the video game and the bullet come through the wall and hit me in the hip. What I did?
Yeah.
What I did deserve that?
Right. Right.
Oh, because I got all these tattoos on me and stuff. I look like I'm just
Right.
out here doing stuff to people,
Mhm.
you know. So that random bullet was meant for me. You know, it's
Mhm.
that type of stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and we see that, and we like just I try to build a bond with the patients to let them know that they loved,
Yeah.
and I mean that. You know, like you special, you're a person. You know,
Mhm.
whatever you went through, you know, wrong or right, this is what we at right here, right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
And, you know, we trying to work on, you know, making the situation better,
Mhm.
not worse.
Mhm.
And, you know, I spoke with a lot of patients that, you know, have, you know, been shooting, got shot, and they were
Mhm.
shooting too,
Yeah.
you know, defending themselves or whatever the situation is. But I just don't see going back out there. You can't really commit no crimes and get
Mhm.
away with it.
Mhm.
Don't be crazy. Don't go out there and do something that's gonna cost you your life.
Right.
You know,
And you've already had all, like, I guess it's just now, like, coming, like, making more sense for me because 'cause you've had every type of experience that most of the clients you encounter, they either have had or you're trying to steer them another direction. So you've been on both sides of the gun, but you've also been to prison,
mhm,
right? But at the same time, here you are working at Grady, like, telling them and showing them, like, "This has been my experience. It doesn't have to be to be yours.
Right. You ain't got to take the hard path.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because the dude that when he pulled the gun on me, he told the police that he pulled the gun on me.
Mhm.
But it didn't matter because he called the police. He was a victim. So it didn't even matter. Like the things that he did didn't
Right.
even matter. It didn't even matter.
Mhm.
And when
And
you
you
go
were
back,
painted as,
yeah,
like
and I was retaliating, but
yeah.
when you go back and you retaliate, whatever they did to you don't even matter.
Mhm.
It don't even matter. Like they not go be in court feeling sorry for you because, what I'm saying, this person shot
Which
somebody
is
close
kinda
to you.
crazy, cause like, your life was you didn't know it was a BB gun,
No.
so, like, for all purposes, your life was threatened, and it could have
Yeah.
been that you were defending yourself. I mean, granted, going back after the situation, like, somebody could argue, like, okay, like, the threat had passed, but at the end of the day, like, anyone who's had a gun pulled on them, like, your brain doesn't just immediately forget that, and you just
Right.
move on like nothing happened.
But honestly, I could have though.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I
for
look back
sure.
at it, I'm like, it was dumb. It was dumb for me to go back, but
Right.
I just didn't know what I was doing. I
Mhm.
didn't know, what I'm saying, the boxes that I was checking off when I was doing that.
For sure. But I mean,
Um,
even just like the point I'm making is the threat to your life initially.
yeah.
It's almost as though that had no value because I'm assuming the kid didn't get in any
No,
trouble
no,
at
he didn't
all.
get no.
Right.
No, he didn't get in trouble at all.
Mhm.
And I guess I don't it took me a long time to kind of deal with that part because like that's what I
Yeah.
was saying, why he not being charged with anything.
Mhm.
But it's hard. You can't just dwell on that type of stuff
Mhm.
because it ain't gonna do nothing but make you bitter.
For
That's all it's
sure.
gonna do is make you bitter. But I do know that regardless of the fact, if somebody do something to you and you go back and do it, like you gotta be held accountable for your actions.
Mhm. Mhm.
So whatever they did, the law could pick them up, or
Mhm.
even if they don't or whatever, you still got to be
You're
held accountable
responsible
for
for
your
yourself.
actions.
Yep.
So you know, if you take a man's life, um, why is the last question they gonna be asking? Like I mean,
Mhm.
it's the first question, but it's really the last
Mhm.
question that they care about because of that action. It superseded everything.
Mhm.
You took somebody's life.
Mhm.
So yeah, you heard that such and such shot your cousin,
Mhm.
or they shot, whatever they did, they could have shot you,
Mhm.
but you still here. When you go back and take that person's life, they not gonna be saying that was self defense.
Right.
They not gonna just forgive you because that person shot you first. They gonna say that you should let the law deal with it. And
Mhm.
it sounds like it's not street justice, but that's the reality that we live in.
I still think it's so, like, skewed in a lot of ways because so after because of the work that we do, like, after you see the clients at the bedside, a lot of times they're referred to me, right? So
Mm,
I'm seeing them in the months after where they're trying to do all that processing. And the thing that keeps coming up for me is that there are so many people because there's more people who are surviving their injuries than are dying from them. So we have a lot of people who are surviving and have really high rates of PTSD. And
yeah,
like the way your mind shifts after you've been injured in that way is just like it's almost like you can't really fault people for now wanting to protect and defend themselves,
yeah,
right? And even trying to have conversations about not retaliating, it's like those conversations, like they can be had, but you also have to give grace for the person that like almost lost their life, even when they weren't doing anything,
right.
you know? And it's like we spend so much time just trying to like repair all the damage that happens after. And meanwhile, it's just like, I don't know. It's
No,
still it blows my mind.
Now I get what you're saying because you do have a different mindset. When I
Mhm,
came home from the hospital, I had a pile of guns.
mhm,
Everybody was giving me guns, for
mhm.
real.
Yes, and, like, you can't even I'm not even saying that that's not to be expected because you wanna protect yourself.
Yeah. And that much is true.
Mhm,
But um, it's still laws and stuff that we got to go by
mhm.
because I got shot. I know firsthand. I know firsthand about, all that
Yep,
type of stuff right
yep.
there. Yeah, I mean, it's messed up the way the way the laws are. But if they were the other way, I think it'd be even worse though.
Mhm. I guess too, I'm sure it took you a long period of time to, like, recover. Like, even just, talk about that, like, physically, it took you at least 3 months because you were in the hospital for 3 months.
Yeah,
And I'm sure
yeah,
there was other, like, recovery like, physical recovery after that. But, like,
yeah.
what about mentally? Like, what did it take, and how long did it take?
Well, I was staying in the bluff at the time, so I used to hear gunshots like all the time,
Mhm.
like just all the time. But when I first came home from the hospital, I remember the first time I heard gunshots, and it was like it used to didn't bother me, but then it had my heart beating
Mhm.
fast, my veins was popping out my head, I was
Mhm.
sweating. That's when I realized that PTSD
Mhm.
is really real because it
Mhm.
was involuntary. I wasn't,
Yeah.
trying to be extra or nothing. It was like this was really going on. It scared me.
Mhm.
Um, Eventually I overcame it, but
How did you overcome it?
I really don't know. I just tried. I think I got some kind of fail safe or something where I could kind of block out things that bother me a
Mm,
lot
mhm.
because I don't remember doing nothing special to try to get over the PTSD except for just letting it go. But
Did you
that's
ever
just the
get
way.
therapy?
Nah, I mean, no, but
Yeah.
nah, I didn't. I
Yeah.
went to see a psychiatrist,
Mhm.
um, and they had prescribed me some. I had got prescribed some stuff. So I went through a depression because my body wasn't the same
Mhm.
as it was before. Um, but I ain't that didn't last too long.
Mhm.
I did go through a depression and stuff like that, but I just got better by just trying to get
Mhm.
better. I mean, doing other things to keep me distracted.
Mhm.
Um, I was trying to get some money. I ain't really have time to
Yeah.
just be sitting around here with PTSD. My bills was behind. I had to go work.
Yeah.
When I got out the hospital, I went back to work as soon as I could.
Mhm.
Went back to work, got a hernia. So I had to come back, have another surgery, push
Mhm.
me back out of work for a minute. It's like so many other patients that we deal
Mhm.
with, dealing with patients who paralyzed and they like, man, I gotta do something. I gotta get some money. I gotta
Right.
figure out what's going on. You ain't even got all your motor skills, your arm
Mhm.
messed up, but you still like the bills ain't gonna stop.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. Mhm.
it's crazy. But that was my mindset. I just
Mhm.
knew I had to get back out there. And I was remember like school finna start back. This was like around August when I went
Mhm.
back to work. I got out of the hospital in April. And I was like, man, I gotta
You
go
gotta get
handle it.
back.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you could have benefited from therapy or even, like, a brave space back then?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Just asking, you
But
know?
see, with therapy and stuff, a lot of us don't we just don't use it. The people that need it don't really use it.
Mhm.
But when I started, doing the therapy thing, it
Mhm.
made me show me improvements in my life because it showed me some other things. Therapy, I think, is for people that's willing to listen.
Mhm.
You just got to be able to listen.
Mhm. What about the
Uh,
brave space
the,
for survivors? Like, do you feel like, with even with you being a survivor, like having a brave space where you can actually talk about what you can only talk about with people who have gone through it, like, how do you think that would have benefited you or helped you?
a brave space would have benefited me a lot because then I could have understood the situations that I was going through
Mhm.
while I was going through them.
Mhm.
A lot of that depression came because now after I'm out the hospital, my recovery, I'm depending heavily on my wife. She was
Mhm.
my caregiver, caretaker, and so um, she go to work, come home, and do all the
Mhm.
things that she had to do for me, and then mentally, sometimes I be feeling like she frustrated with me, which would in turn make me be frustrated with her,
Mhm.
and if I'd had like a brave space type thing where I can go to with other people that's going through or have been through similar
Mhm.
situations, then I would have understood what that was.
Mhm.
Just at a brave space that we was at, and I was telling I don't forgot, but I know I was telling somebody that like it's gonna be some times where you not feeling yourself or you feeling upset, but you got to you c- the attitude you can't be negative toward the people that's
Mhm.
taking care of you because like they might not want to do whatever it is you need
Mhm.
done at the time. They might
Mhm.
not feel like doing that, but they'd rather do that than to lose you because they
Mhm.
love you.
Mhm.
When people care about you, they aren't everything that they do for you don't mean they doing it just because they want to do it.
Yeah.
They do it because they care about you, and that's just something to look at. Um, I was dealing with a patient that was saying something like, I get tired of asking folk be acting like they don't want to do
Mhm.
stuff for me and stuff. And it's like they might not want to, but at the end of the day, do they?
Mhm.
The people that's there. So it's a lot of stuff that
Yeah.
we all as adults do that we don't want to do.
Mhm.
And I'm sure we do it for a reason.
Mhm.
And if you somebody that I don't care nothing about, you can't, I wouldn't waste the time.
Mhm.
I wouldn't do it.
Mhm.
People just gotta keep that in mind and remember that.
Yeah. So what's your view on like what we're seeing nowadays with like a lot of young people um just kind of like just out there just killing other people um and a lot of what I hear is just like a loss of hope, to be honest.
I think with the younger generation,
Yeah.
yeah, because with the younger generation, it's a whole lot of miscommunication and misunderstanding.
Mhm.
We look at them like we were in their age.
Yeah.
Everybody blaming everything on the young people.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of stuff, yeah, young people do have access to guns.
Mhm.
But after working with gun violence, we know that the age that most assailants or people getting shot is between
Yeah.
27 and 31.
Mhm.
So these are young adults. These are people that, are established, people having babies, people who having stuff that they want to care about. I mean, or
Mhm.
stuff that they care about now. So they having guns and doing all that, but they still young people. Now, as far as the younger people, like 16 and
Mhm.
17, I think that they just imitating what they see.
Mhm.
Like if everybody, like people that grew up with me, it wasn't no doctors, and I didn't stay next to a doctor. I didn't stay next to a lawyer.
Mhm.
I didn't stay nowhere near a professional athlete, but
Mhm.
I did stay around drug dealers. I seen that drug dealers be getting money.
Mhm.
Um, I might have knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that got famous rapping.
Mhm.
You like that type of thing, and it's a couple people that's doing a lot of bad stuff. The
Yeah.
people that I see that's getting money ain't really doing a whole lot of productive stuff.
Mhm.
You might know such and such who work at the plant who making a lot of money and they seem like they kind of successful, but the people that's in our neighborhoods that the kids are seeing and stuff, that's who they imitating.
Right.
And if that's all you see, then that's what you go aspire to be.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like Two
Mhm.
Chain got this song, "Dope Man" is my role model.
Mhm.
The dope man be a lot of kids' role model. I was just talking about my dead uncle.
Yeah.
Growing up, seeing how he always had a lot of money and nice cars and nice clothes and stuff like that, but he was a drug dealer. I think that we need to um, see more. If people see more positive stuff going on in the
Yeah.
neighborhood, then they can adapt to it. Like the way that our whole little violence prevention thing is set up is like we looking for high risk individuals, but I think
Mhm.
it's a lot of high risk individuals. But my whole take on it, I think we should be reaching out to those high risk
Yeah.
individuals that possess those natural leadership qualities.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah,
We have this conversation all the time, about how, like, once you actually talk to them and you ask them just like general questions about themselves, like how you ask them questions at the bedside. Like I think it'll blow people's minds like that there's a bunch of leaders, like they're really
Yeah,
smart, you know what I mean? But their environment a lot of times shapes them, either puts them in survival mode or they like you said, they just don't know like, okay, I could be a gator. You know, they don't know.
right,
They need to be exposed to that. They need that kind of exposure in order to, like, see a different pathway, but it's not because they don't have the talent or the skills or the gifts. It's just they need opportunity, they need
right.
exposure.
I think a leader is a leader.
Yeah.
So like, I think that the guys that all the kids in the neighborhood flock to, who
Mhm.
probably the bully in the neighborhood or always into stuff. If you put him in a different type of situation where he was
Yeah.
doing something positive, I think that people would still flock to him and follow
Yes.
him.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
if we could pluck those type of guys out, who are
Mhm.
little man man is everybody in the
Mhm.
hood, no man man.
Mhm.
If they see man man doing something positive, then I think
They'll
they'll
follow.
aspire, yeah, and they'll
Yeah.
follow him to
Yep.
doing something positive. But like no matter where you at, no matter what kind of organization, building, um, group you
Mhm.
in, like the leadership is gonna reflect on everybody that's above
Mhm.
them. Whatever kind of idea that the leadership have, it's go reflect. It's go
Mhm.
reflect on because the people under them gonna be pushing that message, and it's go just keep going down.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so when you in the hood and like the most popular people over there is doing a lot of grimy stuff,
Mhm.
then it's probably gonna be a lot of grimy stuff going on in that
Mhm.
neighborhood because that's the culture that they follow.
Right. Right.
So we take people like that though and have them standing up for something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
having them being the people that's saying vote, vote, vote,
Mhm.
or whatever, like then I think that that's how you get through to people.
Yeah. It's like getting them to repurpose their talent in a meaningful way. Because maybe, like you said, like, if that's what they grew up in, maybe that's the only option that they saw for them. It's not because they're not a leader. They're just using their leadership skills in a way that's not productive.
Yeah,
But they could just you know what I mean? They could.
yeah.
They just need to know that they can.
I like with the election and stuff, all this stuff that be going on, right, in the political arena.
Mhm.
So I'm like all these policies that we making and stuff, they really affect the people, the youth,
Mhm.
the people that's growing up. This is the world. Once these policies go into effect, they gonna be affecting the youth.
Yeah.
But we'll never ask their opinion on it.
We don't.
They can't vote. They don't have
Mhm.
a voice, none of that. So we making all these laws, but that's who really having to live with it.
Mhm.
And I be feeling like, man, we never hear. Like, how you gonna tell me about how to do something in the hood, but you never in the hood?
Never been there.
Yeah. So how you gonna tell me how this gonna affect me if you don't know, what I'm saying, what these policies are doing to me right now?
Mhm.
You don't understand. Like, you really ain't got no you really don't have nothing to stand on.
Mhm. Mhm.
You just making up these rules and these laws and they don't affect you,
Mhm.
but the people that they're affecting, voices not being heard.
Yeah.
I really feel like it should be some kind of way that the youth voices get heard.
Mhm. Mhm.
We got to make it where, where they can express themselves and really be heard. I
Yeah.
think we'll go a whole lot further.
For sure.
That's that's why we saying about the miscommunication between us, my
Mhm.
generation, and the youth. If you dress trendy or you talk a certain kind of way, you trying to be young. But this the future. The young people is the future.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
when we looking at them and whatever they got going on, we got to make sure that we plant the right seeds when we talking to them
Mhm.
and when we interacting with them. And we got to listen to them because they see things that we don't see. They see the world different.
Right.
The older you
And the
get,
world is different.
yeah,
It's a lot different than when we were growing up versus what they're experiencing now.
right,
But a lot of times we are making policies that fit like our perspective or our experience. But it's like they're living in a different world, like they're experiencing things differently. Like we didn't grow up with social media in the way that they are.
right,
Where it's like now everything you do or if someone talks about you, if someone shoots you, like, it goes on social media, and then
Mm,
you have to deal with that, and, like, there especially the younger ones, like, there's no formula for how to deal with being bullied online, like, they're just trying to figure it out,
right.
and we come down on them so hard, but we don't give them grace that they're trying to figure it out. They may not have the right tools, they might not be approaching it the right way, but that's also on our responsibility to give them better options, to teach them better
Yeah.
ways.
Conflict resolution.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely need to teach them that. But it's definitely a different world.
Mhm.
And that's how I mean, I just feel like my generation, our perspective is kind of set in stone, but
Mhm.
I like to hear the newer generation because they the visionaries.
Yeah.
Like they get to take all the shit that we done, just threw in the pot and they got to try to make dinner with it.
Mhm.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like we just, whatever we give them, they just trying to fix it and they adapting every day. So I don't really like being hard on young people. I be wanting to,
Mhm.
to kind of understand. I be wanting to get them the real about what they're doing and let them know so that they can understand. Because if I'd have understood what I was getting myself into 20 years ago, then I would have moved way different.
Yeah,
I
for
would have moved
sure.
way different.
For sure.
Like everything about police and arrest, everything about we just go lock you up
Mhm.
until you get gray in your head.
Mhm.
Not about teaching us, or
Mhm.
it's crazy. We wouldn't even be having this problem if we understood them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I definitely appreciate your perspective because not only are you doing like amazing work now, but you have just such a balanced outlook to life. Like you've gone through what you've gone through, you grew up how you grew up, but you also take responsibility and you're also trying to pour into the younger people. And like that's a really balanced approach, I think, to life. And I think it's really needed in this work because this work isn't easy, you know?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Well, to me, I guess the easiest person in the world for me to be is me.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, the work is not easy because it do have emotional tolls
Mhm.
and challenges. So it could be like sometimes it will get emotionally
Mhm.
draining,
It is.
but I always get a good feeling though when I touch somebody. I
Mhm.
just I know it's a good feeling, and it's touching me.
Mhm.
It made me feel proud about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I mean, I take a lot of pride in being a violence intervention specialist,
Mhm.
for being a person that come to you and try to talk some sense into you, or just be there for you, or just give you some love, or just
Mhm.
listen to you vent,
Mhm.
or whatever it is. Like I take pride in that. I feel like when I go home, I feel like I accomplished something.
Yeah.
I feel like my life has purpose.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing this work, it's fulfilling for me too.
Yeah. For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. So, before we end, like I always give everybody the opportunity. I always say, like, you can ask me one question and I'll make it like a brave space. So I'll answer the question too. Primarily because I think a lot of times in this type of space, whether it's like a therapeutic space, a brave space, it's like you always have the provider, the clinician, like asking all the questions, like the person being vulnerable, sharing everything. But I think it's important too that like I also be vulnerable, also like open up. So it doesn't, you know, doesn't always
Mm.
feel one-sided. So you get to ask me any question, and I'll
Hmm.
and I'll
Nah,
answer it.
trying to well, I'm just gonna ask something probably like, or first thing come to my mind, like what give you your drive? How you stay motivated? You just
Just going.
yeah, you just be going.
I stay motivated. Number one, like definitely my faith. That's a big part of this, right? Because I don't think I could do this work like without having faith. Um, the second thing, I need a lot of sleep. Like
A lot of sleep.
I need my rest. Like I can't. So I try to make sure usually I take Sundays off where it's like I'm not gonna do anything I don't want to do. Just because like I pretty much work 6 days a week. And like sometimes I'm working like long, long days, especially Mondays, like client days. Like it takes a toll, it takes a toll. So I try to make sure. that I get enough sleep. And I think also even, like, doing this brave space, like, it gives me a sense of purpose. Um, so I think, like, part of that keeps me motivated, like, finding new ways to do the brave space in a way that it actually benefits those who attend. So when people come to the brave space and they take something away from it, or they, like, let me know after, like, I really needed that, that was really good, like, I feel good about that. So I feel, like I have a purpose in this work. So, yeah, I would say those 3 things. Yeah.
Okay. Now I got one. I got another question.
Okay.
Guys, know.
You guys another one.
Okay, now, cause I just want to know, like, see what it's like being Jordan, like, and I want to know, like, yeah, what it's like being like you, like, how you navigate working with like all these people, and like, I just want to know how your looks play into that, cause like, you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
like, you feeling like, dude, is that like a gift or a curse to
What
you?
you mean?
Like,
Like,
how you look?
how I look?
Yeah,
You mean, like, mostly for, like, men
yeah.
or you know what? Someone has asked me that before, and I honestly have to say no one has ever I don't think anyone has ever tried to, like, cross any, like, boundaries with me, and I think part of it is because, like, I really do show up, like, wanting to help. You know what I mean? And I think people can sense that. Like, I really show up, like, genuinely concerned, like, I'm here for what I say I'm here for. Like, I don't have
Mm.
any ulterior motives, um, and I think also people just know if they, like, tried to s if they,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
tried, like, they would get shut
yeah.
down.
She very, you know what I'm saying. You very straight up, you know what I'm saying.
I
But I
am.
just wonder what it'd be like, you know what I'm saying, being like how, but that's like, you know what I'm saying, navigating this type of being a businesswoman, and then
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
you know, like
Then, like, what?
like I'm saying,
Say
being
it.
an attractive person, you know what I'm saying, like,
Mhm,
and then so like people, they misjudge you, or do they
mhm,
make you feel like
mhm.
like I'm wondering what that's like when you dealing with, not common folk, but bigger people,
Yeah.
how that work out for you.
Um, I think people who don't know me, like, if they see me at, like people in this field, if they see me at, like, a conference or something, they'll try me in a different way than, like, people here in Atlanta do. Because I think people here I don't know, I just feel like people don't try me in that way here. Um, Clients don't try me, and I think, again, like, I'm, like, very plain, like, I show up, I be looking the same, like, I don't switch it up, like, I also don't try to, like, make myself attractive to someone in that way. Like, I'm not gonna
Mm,
talk to you any differently or, like, you know, interact with you any differently.
mm.
Um, but people who don't know me,
Yeah.
they do weird stuff.
Yeah.
They try to be weird.
Yeah.
They do. They do.
I was wondering, you know what I'm saying, just like what that would be like.
Yeah, I think too, to your point, like, that can get uncomfortable at times, like, especially in a therapeutic sense because, the more you talk to someone, you start meeting with them, like, sometimes from a client's perspective, they could feel like, "Oh, this person's really helping me. This person's really nice. This person's really friendly." Like, and in those kind of situations, you pretty much have to address it, like, head on. Like, "Okay, like, you may be feeling something, but actually it's probably more so you're just starting to feel better in general." You know what I mean? Like, it's like
Yeah.
that's how I say it
That's
just like that. I
crazy.
say it very neutral, like, "I think you're just feeling better." And I just
Yeah.
happen to be the person
They
who's
couldn't do
like,
it.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
couldn't do.
But you see, it's
Yeah.
like it's some skill to it. It's some
That's
skill
funny. Nah, I get
it's
it.
some skill to it. So, it's like, yeah, that's what I would say about
I
that.
just be, just be wondering how that,
Mhm.
just it was just a question I had just thought about.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Well, this is Brave Space. This is the Brave Space podcast. I'm Dr. Jordan, and I'm here having a conversation with Gator.
Yeah,
Thank you.
cool.